After setting up Outlook as the preferred email client in ACT, we can now begin using Outlook integration with ACT. In this video, I want to show you some of the benefits of this integration, and we'll also explore the ACT for Outlook sidebar from within Outlook. To begin, I want to look up one of my contacts in ACT. Now, I've been preparing for a meeting with a prospective client. His name is Benny Sanchez, and he owns a company called Glass Half Full Taproom. I've been communicating back and forth with Benny, and since I've already integrated ACT with Outlook, all of my interactions with him will create history records in ACT. So in the lookup panel, I'm going to just look up his first name and click Go. And this will open up the contact detail view for Benny Sanchez. Now, all I have to do is click his email address to begin to compose a new message to him. In the subject line, I'll just say something like presentation next Friday, and I'll compose a quick message that just tells him I'm expecting to have a conference room for our meeting next week. Once I've finished that message, I'll click send. This sends the email through Outlook, but it's also going to create a history record for Benny inside ACT. When you click the History tab, you should be able to view this sent email. Sometimes there's a slight delay here, so you may need to just hit F5 on your keyboard to refresh this tab. But now we can see this email has been saved as a history record for Benny Sanchez. So let's launch Outlook now so that we can see what's been recorded. From Outlook, if I go to my Sent Items area, I can see this email that I sent out to Benny. And notice in the header bar, we have a new ACT tab at the top of Outlook. This ACT tab was added to Outlook when you installed or updated ACT to the latest version. You may have also noticed that there's a new sidebar on the right side of the screen. We're going to examine this sidebar in just a little bit, but for now we're going to start with the ACT tab at the top. The ACT tab contains three sections: Settings, Create, and Attach. On the far left, you can use this drop-down to switch between your ACT databases as different Outlook address books. I'm going to start with the Settings area and specifically the Preferences button. There are two types of preferences here: Auto Attach and Quick Attach. Auto Attach happens, as you may have guessed, automatically when you send and receive emails with people who are already contacts in your ACT database. So here you just need to decide what type of history gets created when you send an email to or receive an email from your ACT contacts. For these, I've chosen date, time, subject, and message. There are several other options available here too. You can receive a notification whenever you email a contact who is not yet in your ACT database so that you can add them to ACT if you want to. You can also choose to mark your outgoing or incoming email histories as private so that no one else can see them in ACT. Beneath that, you can check this box to prevent creating histories for coworkers or users who have the same domain as you, but this only works if you're using Outlook Exchange. And finally, if somebody sends you a meeting invite, you can automatically create an activity in ACT whenever you accept the invite. Let's switch to the Quick Attach area now. Here you can manually attach emails that you receive as history records to ACT contacts who are associated with the email. In this list, I'm going to choose the person who sent the email to me, the sender, as the contact who will have the email attached as a history record. And from here, I can just click Save. Now let's look at the Attach area of the ACT tab. Here you can attach messages to your ACT contacts as history records. You can choose Attach to Contacts to choose some options along the way, or you can click Quick Attach to bypass those options and then just go with the settings that you chose in the Preferences area. To the right of this is the Create section. Here you can create contacts in ACT from emails that you send or receive, and you can also create activities in ACT from these emails. I'll demonstrate this process as we switch our focus over to the ACT sidebar now. The ACT sidebar makes regular connections to your live database to show you contact, activity, history, and opportunity data. As you click on emails in Outlook, the sidebar can immediately recognize whether that contact is in your ACT database or not. When I select this email from Allison Parker, the ACT sidebar displays the ACT contact data for this person. But when I select this email from Joan Jetson, it doesn't recognize her because I don't yet have a corresponding ACT contact record for her in my database. That's not a problem. All I have to do is click this button that says Yes, Add Now. Act already copies her contact name and email address for me. I could add more details now, but I want to show you how to edit this later, so I'll just click Create Contact. Once the Act sidebar recognizes contacts from your emails, there's a lot you can do without having to leave Outlook. So let's start at the top of the sidebar. The refresh button will synchronize with your Act database and grab the latest contact, history, activity, and opportunity data and display it here. The Options button to the right of that lets you configure the Act sidebar in a few ways. First, you can reorder the fields that you see here in the contact area by clicking and dragging a field to its new location. You can also click the Add Fields to Layout button beneath that if you want to add new fields from Act to the sidebar. Your standard fields will be at the top, and if you scroll down, you'll be able to locate any custom fields that you may have created. Just click one or more of these boxes and then click the OK button to add this new field to the contact area. While we're still in this configuration screen, let's scroll down to the Actions area. Here you can choose which action buttons you'd like to display. I'm going to include this Add Note button to my Actions area by checking the box next to it. If desired, you can also show or hide any of these sections by clicking the little eyeball button to either show or hide that section. Now I'm going to click Save Changes to save my preferences. Let's add some additional information for Joan now. So while looking at her email, I can simply copy and paste any pertinent information from the email to these fields in the sidebar. While reading her email, all I know about her so far is that she's in a city called Green River and Wyoming. So from here I can just click Save Changes and that contact will be edited now in Act. Also, while looking at this email from Joan, I noticed that she would like to speak with me concerning our products. So what I want to do is create an initial call activity so that I can follow up with her. While looking at Joan's email, I'll go to my Actions area in the sidebar and I'll click the Add Activity button. This lets me create an activity in Act without ever having to leave Outlook. So I'll change this from a meeting to a call type, and we'll set it up for next week by choosing start time and end time. Notice a few things here also. First, Act has already filled out the regarding field with the subject line from the email. I also notice that the details area has been auto-populated with the body of the original email. I might want to trim this a little bit, removing the salutation information and also maybe the signature info. One more thing, when I click the Attendees tab, this has already added Joan Jetson as an attendee to this activity. If I need to add more contacts to this call, I can click the Add Attendees button on the right and search for them in my Act Outlook address book. Lastly, check the Create Meeting Invite box if you'd like to email an invite to all attendees. Once you're finished, click Add Activity, and we can see that that activity has been created in Act. Let's go back to my Act database now, just to make sure that the new contact and call activity have all been created. I'm going to search for Joan and go to the detail view for her contact record. We can see that she's been created. It's even included the city and state that I edited later. And if I go to my activities area, we can see that there is a call activity that I've scheduled for her for next week. Now there are 3 more things that I want to show you in the Act sidebar for Outlook. First, let's click one of the older emails from one of my customers, Christina Wheaton. Now when I scroll down in the Act sidebar to the History section, this displays the last handful of history records that I have with this contact. I can click the dates on any of these history items to view the details of that history record. Second, let's click this Add Note button from within the Act sidebar. This lets me create a new note for this contact without having to leave Outlook. This is a note created in Outlook. And I'll click OK. Now when I click the refresh button at the top, this note will appear in the Act sidebar for Outlook. Here you can view other notes or even edit any of these notes as well. Finally, let's scroll all the way down to the Opportunities section. Here I can see any open or closed opportunities that I have with this contact. If I click the opportunity's name, I can view its details. From here I can also switch from the Details tab to the Products tab to view the products and services that were included with this opportunity. And so just as easy as that, I can create new contacts, schedule activities, attach emails as history records to my ACT contacts, and much more by using the ACT for Outlook integration.